So I'm at Lakefield Arena just getting ready for our shoot today. I'm with the Horticultural Society and they're putting on their annual antique, vintage and flower show. So I'm just, testing out the merchandise. Today on the new CHEX Daily, we'll be looking at everything they have to offer. So jewelry, furniture, home decor, and of course flowers, although they're not quite here yet, but we'll have all of that coming up on the new CHEX Daily. I am here at the Lakefield Arena where the Horticultural Society is putting on their annual vintage, antique and flower show, and I've already gotten to sample a couple of the things on display. Now the flowers aren't here yet because if they come in too early they will wilt, but I'm here with one of the dealers who's come all the way from Kitchener.
Yes.
And has outfitted me in this beautiful jewelry. Can you talk to me about what you have on display?
Absolutely. Actually, we're partially set up right now. We're just in the process. Our booth takes about 6 hours to assemble.
Oh wow.
Besides our vintage costume jewelry, which we specialize in, we also deal in Victorian.
And you've got such a selection here. I mean, look, this is the one that pulled my eye in right here.
Yeah, this is really fun, and most people would look at this and not think that it's Chanel, but this is actually a Chanel piece from the 1950s. It's lucite.
Okay.
And despite it looking extremely heavy, it really isn't as bad as you would think. It's lucite and Austrian crystal.
So it's just, it's different.
Yes.
Like this is a Chanel piece, but it's not something like you would ever see nowadays.
No, because people tend to think of Chanel as always being very elegant, but Chanel was also very much into fun and accessories. Her phrase was that you should be able to look like $1 million without having to spend $1 million.
Oh, that's great.
So the whole idea of costume jewelry, which was the term that she coined actually.
Oh, really?
Was because it was supposed to look like fine jewelry, but it was affordable. And you could wear it and not have to worry that you were going to lose it or something would happen to it.
You could change it with every outfit.
Absolutely, you could.
You mentioned this one right here a little bit earlier.
Yes, that was made by Joseph Mazer. They were a New York design company, and this to me is very reflective of the jewelry we're seeing in the Edwardian period from Downton Abbey.
Beautiful.
And Joseph Mazer did jewelry designed for a number of very high-end companies, including Cartier.
Wow.
So his jewelry is very well made.
Well, it's gorgeous. And so for you as an antique dealer, talk to me about the experience.
One of the wonderful aspects of being a dealer at an antique show is that people bring pieces into the shows. So when we're coming to a show, we will put our advertising out that we will be at Lakefield buying and selling.
Right.
And it's amazing how much inventory comes in that way. We also deal with public trustees, executors of estates, people who have pieces they don't want to wear anymore. We don't buy from auction, we buy everything privately. Okay. So we're able to sit down at your table, try the things on, make sure everything is in perfect condition before we buy it.
Fantastic. So you've been coming to this show for many, many years.
Yes.
Why do you keep coming back?
We love it. We love the atmosphere. We don't generally do a lot of what we would call a mixed venue show, in as much as this has the flower arrangements. But so much of what we sell, especially with the smalls, works in so well with the fabulous horticultural aspect of it, because you can tie in the flowers from your garden to a 19th century vase or a 1930s planter, and you can reappreciate antiques that you may never have had a use for because you didn't know what to do with them. But if you're into the gardening and the flowers, it gives you the opportunity.
And you mentioned you could use a brooch as a decor in the flower, hold back your...
Use brooches as curtain tie-backs. You can use expandable bracelets as napkin rings.
Well, there is so much to look at, so when we come back after the break, we will be back here at the arena looking at many more antique things on display. All right, I am still here at the Lakefield Arena, and we are with the Horticultural Society, who's getting ready for their annual antique, vintage, and flower show. And I'm here now with Lisa. Now, Lisa, what will you be doing at the show?
I am going to do a little seminar. I'm an interior designer, so I'm going to talk about how to take antiques and vintage and mix them into your existing decor, how to create an eclectic room that makes sense, talking about different proportions to use within your space.
So how do you do that?
Well, there are a few key rules. A lot of them involve proportion and scale. Some styles don't work well together, some really do.
Say, for example, this bright yellow phone here. If I wanted to buy it, how would I make that work in a room without having it just look like old clutter in the corner?
Yeah, I think something like that. I love the color. It would be a great pop of color even just on a bookshelf. You may not use it as a phone. It might just be a piece of decor. But make sure that it's not the only thing that has color. Make sure that you've got some other stuff going on your shelf as well. Something like this and something like this, you could layer that into a bookcase and just have those as your statement pieces.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier like making a vignette. Can you maybe walk me through that?
Yeah, so again, maybe taking something small for starters, like a bookcase, where at home you probably have books and maybe a vase and some other decor items that you've bought that are modern.
Okay.
Just add in some simple things like these. Even throwing in a piece of silver like that is a nice little bit of sparkle. Put it on top of a stack of books that you already have, and you're just giving your space a little more personality.
Now, are there any hard, fast rules for when I'm buying antique things? Like, is there anything I should be looking to buy or not buy?
You know what? It's so personal, and I think buy what speaks to you, buy what you love, and I think one of the things to always consider in design is to have it reflect who you are.
Okay.
Don't shop out of a catalog. Don't make it look like you have page 21 from such and such catalog in your house.
Right.
Make it yours.
And if you want to buy antique things, you can come here to the Lakefield Arena and maybe get some tips from you.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, we'll have more after the break. So we're still here at the Lakefield Arena where I'm with the Horticultural Society as they prepare for their annual antique, vintage, and flower show. And I have to ask, you know, an antique show, how does that relate to the Horticultural Society?
This is our biggest fundraiser, and we have Judge Flower Show here, plus the antique, plus the vintage. And this is how we make our money to put all the flowers in the village and the hanging baskets.
Okay, fantastic. So all those beautiful flowers come from people.
That's right, the $5 that they pay at the door.
Fantastic. And so I've never, I mean, you don't necessarily associate antiques with flowers. How did this happen?
Well, I think it has a long history, long before I've been involved with this show, but it is unique amongst horticultural societies. I'm not aware of any other society that does the combination of the beautiful flowers and invites the antique dealers.
When is the show taking place? When should people come down?
Friday at 10 o'clock until 7, and Saturday from 10 o'clock until 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And we'd love to see you in Lakefield, and Lakefield's a lovely village, and I'm sure you'll have fun if you come.
Lots to see. Well, that is it for us today on the new CHEX Daily, and Teresa, I'll send it back to you.